Eric Kaler was recently named president of the University of Minnesota, only the 16th person to hold this position since the first was inaugurated back in 1869. Please welcome to Capitol Report, Dr. Eric Kaler. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
I want to begin. When your appointment was announced, Board of Regents Clyde Allen said this about you. The board's impressions and those of the university's community are that he is a talented researcher and teacher, effective administrator, and gifted communicator, and these are qualities that will serve him well as the next president of the University of Minnesota. So what do you think you bring to the table?
Well, first off, Regent Allen is a very kind person, I should say. I bring really now almost 30 years of experience as an educator and as a faculty member. So I've had a strong record in teaching and research, which I think gives me credibility with my faculty. And I've had good experience as a chair, a dean, and a provost, so I know how large universities run. So I think the combination of those two kinds of experiences set me up well to lead this great institution.
And in my research, I noticed in several articles that you were referencing enormous challenges on the horizon for the institution. Arguably, the trend of decreased state funding and higher tuition are two of those challenges. So how do you anticipate trying to curb those trends?
Well, that's a national issue, and we're playing it out pretty big time in Minnesota. I think on the state funding front, we need to communicate the value that we bring to the people of the state of Minnesota more effectively and more clearly, and that's my job. So I'm going to be meeting with legislators, meeting with the governor, talking with their staffs about the value and the importance of a great research institution to the state of Minnesota. On the tuition front, we have to manage these increases. As the state funding has dropped, we've asked students to share about a third of the funding of that gap. That's moved our tuition up to a level that I think is about as high as we can reasonably take it. And so I'm going to work very hard both on state funding and on philanthropy, which will bring in scholarship relief to students who will be paying our tuition.
And so to that point, earlier this year, the Board of Regents stated that tuition could increase 5% next school year with the legislature's actions. So do you think this still holds true?
We are scheduled for that 5% increase. As you know, that increase was predicated on what we viewed as a worst-case budget, which was passed by the legislature. We've gotten a little relief from that, and so as we go back into our final budget calculations, we'll be looking to provide some tuition relief. So we won't be able to implement that for the fall semester, but hopefully for the spring semester, and certainly for next year, we'll be able to mitigate that increase.
President Kaler, the idea of self-funding certain areas, such as the Use Law School, those ideas have surfaced. What would the impacts be if the ideas like this come to fruition?
Well, in the law school, there are several high-quality law schools at public universities across the country that do not receive state funding. I'm comfortable with that model. The tuition that law schools can charge, again backed up with some pretty significant scholarship help there, lets that law school stand alone. For programs that have an undergraduate component, particularly the Carlson School is the other school that's been discussed in this model, I am concerned about how the dollars would work there to ensure the access for all of our undergraduate students who want to be part of the Carlson School. So that needs some more thought in my mind about how we would manage that access issue.
So I think this calls into play the larger question of perhaps thinking outside the box. And you're coming in at the same time as the new chancellor for the MnSCU system, Chancellor Stephen Rosenstone. He has stated that he believes it's a particularly opportune time for the two public systems to find new ways to work together. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. He and I have had some good conversations around that. We're both committed to making sure that our two institutions interact with each other in as effective and efficient way as possible. Both of us are committed to public higher education, committed to providing access and great education to the people of Minnesota, and we will find ways to be more efficient and more collaborative.
I mean, have you had any aha moments, any great ideas that you think really are solid at this point?
Still a little early. I think I'm in day 47 or 8 of my time back in Minnesota. Certainly, we need to look hard at our business practices, sort of what we call our back office activities, HR, purchasing, those kind of things. We need to tighten those up so that we're absolutely as efficient as any university can be in reducing that kind of administrative overhead.
Are you excited about your new position, and even with these challenges?
I am thrilled to be here. This is about as exciting and high return activity that I could be involved in. This is an important chapter of my life, and I'm really excited about being able to dedicate it to the University of Minnesota.
And so my last question then is, what can the students at the University of Minnesota expect under your tenure?
They can expect a rigorous education. We're going to focus on excellence. We're going to invest in programs that are great, and we're going to work on programs that aren't very great. And in fact, if we have some that we're doing that we can't move to the front of the class, we're probably going to quit doing those. So they should expect a very rigorous engagement with a very good research university.
Dr. Eric Kaler, thank you so much for your time today. We certainly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.